The robot army is live, literally live. They're trying to make it look as though it's fun and games. AI wants nukes over and over. We'll get to that. And pretty dope. We got a fully 3D printed electric motor. Pretty dope. This is current events, February 27th, 2026. This is the foundation. I am Sot L, Secret of Truth L. Let's jump into it. Let's do our dance. As we do, make sure to check out welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list. Right there, there's a little box to do a dance. Just put in your email. Oops, I can't even spizzle. But that's it. That's what we'll leave it at that. Let's check out silver. I like it. Let's do it. I like it. Good chart. Ignore that buy signal. Not trading advice, investment advice. I would say though, dollar cost average, $25, $50, $75, $100 every 2 weeks, every month. Go buy whatever silver you can. There is fractional silver down to a gram. A gram of silver. So talking about I can't afford it, don't want to hear it. Maybe speaking about I can't source the grams. Sometimes you got to look a little harder. Let's jump into this. eBay, eBeezy. This thing wants to load. Cuts 800 jobs across the entire company. Oh, there's ads. I got to update my ad blocker. Look at this. Got ads coming through. 800 jobs across the company operations just days after dropping $1.2 billion on trendy Gen Z fashion app. Hey, e-commerce giant eBay announced today it is slashing hundreds of jobs just days after the company dropped $1.2 billion in cash to acquire a trendy Gen Z fashion app and settle a federal lawsuit involving former executives. Man, these ads. I'll fix it next time, I promise. Multiple outlets have reported that eBay will cut a total of 800 roles, or 6% of its workforce, as company documents indicated. About 12,300 employees worldwide as of December 31st, 2025. That's not very many worldwide employees for a company that large. Let's move forward. Satellite images show more aircraft at Saudi air base used by U.S. forces. So this is what people are talking about. More aircrafts. I'm sorry. A rise in the number of military support aircrafts, including refueling tankers, at a Saudi air base used by the U.S. military during a 4-day period in February as Washington built forces in the region amid tensions with Iran. So this is not today. This was last week before, something of that nature. Saudi Arabia, a long-standing U.S. ally, told Iran last month it would not allow its airspace or territory to be used for military actions against Tehran, which held indirect negotiations with Washington today over its nuclear program in a high-resolution satellite image taken on February 27th, so 6 days ago. At least 43 aircraft were visible at Saudi Arabia's Prince Sultan Air Base, which has hosted U.S. forces for decades, compared to 27 aircraft. That's a word for me today, huh? Visible. In a February 17th image, the number dropped to 38 in a February 25th image. So where'd they go? The aircraft in the 21st image included 13 Boeing KC-135 Stroto tankers and 6 Boeing E-3 Sentry aircraft known as AWACS or AWACS. Among a total of 29 large swept-wing aircraft parked at the base, William Goodhind, a forensic image analyst with contested ground, told Reuters. That's, what's happening. And, I hear people say mostly, on social media, which may or may not be true because I haven't really been tracking it. But, this administration likes to do, war things on the weekends when the market's not open. So I guess we'll just wait and see. Wholesale inflation was hotter than expected in January as tariffs threatened to push up prices for consumers again and again and again and again. The prices businesses pay to each other took a sharp turn higher in January. New data showed Friday. I'm assuming this is last week. What date is this? It was updated an hour ago. I don't see a date, but I'm sure it was last week. The producer price index rose a half a percentage point, last month, a pickup from December's 0.4%. I guess that, when it comes to the entire economy, that's a lot. That's a big move. U.S. stocks moved sharply lower last Friday, with investors fearing the hotter than expected inflation report could lead to the Federal Reserve to keep its rate cutting cycle on pause. We know what happened with that. Trump claimed Iran is building missiles that could soon hit the U.S. Sources say that's not backed up by U.S. intelligence. And this is, oddly reminiscent. Oddly reminiscent of, the weapons of mass WMDs, weapons of mass destruction from Iraq to Afghanistan, Syria. But, what are you going to do? When U.S. President Donald Trump addressed the American people on Tuesday night, he claimed that Iran is working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. That assertion is not backed up by U.S. intelligence. It was one of several claims about threats that Iran made publicly by the Trump administration as it lays out the groundwork for possible military action, even as they continue to say the U.S. president wants to reach a diplomatic solution. An unclassified assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency from 2025 said that Iran could develop a militarily viable intercontinental ballistic missile by 2035, quote, should Tehran decide to pursue the capability, end quote. I mean, anybody can do anything by a certain year if they, try to do it. According to two sources, the claim that Iran will soon have a missile capable of hitting the U.S. is not backed up by intelligence. There is no intelligence to suggest that Iran is pursuing an intercontinental ballistic missile program to hit the U.S. at this time. Iran does, however, possess short-range ballistic missiles that could threaten U.S. bases and personnel in the region, as the administration has warned. I wonder if they have missiles that could reach Israel. I almost wasn't going to say it, but I'm saying it. And I wonder if that's the problem. Bill Clinton testifies in House Epstein probe. I did nothing wrong. Y'all believe him? I did not have. Bill Clinton, it's underway. But I thought this was hilarious. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. The clock is ticking. Trump instructs federal agencies to stop work with Anthropic. Y'all know what's going on with this? I promise I'll fix these ads. Trump made the announcement in a Truth Social post saying that agencies will have 6 months to phase out use of Anthropic's products. The administration had told Anthropic the company had until 5:01 p.m. Eastern Friday to give in to the Pentagon's demands or face being labeled a supply chain risk. So they want backdoor access, basically. Y'all should look into Anthropic and what they can do. Or maybe I'll just keep reading. As long as these ads just keep loading. It's crazy. The Pentagon, which uses Anthropic's Claude AI system on its classified networks, wants to be able to use it for all lawful purposes. But Anthropic has two red lines for the Pentagon: that Claude will not be used in autonomous weapons and that it will not be used in the mass surveillance of U.S. citizens. Anthropic on Thursday announced it has no intention of acquiescing. Well, I don't know how you feel about that, but apparently they weren't feeling that. Waymo, the government that is, they didn't like those demands. They want to use it for all lawful purposes. But they want to, Anthropic wants to, have these two guardrails. It seems like it's all bad. Waymo is entering Chicago. You bring driverless cars to Chicago. It eyes an entire Midwest expansion. Waymo is expanding to Chicago as it works to scale its autonomous ride-hailing business beyond its existing markets and establish a foothold in the Midwest. There's an ad all over. Oh, this is embarrassing. Waymo says its AI-first autonomous driving system has logged more than 127 million fully autonomous miles, according to the company. You want to drive? Are you jumping in this? That's what I want to know. I'm cool. I'm old school. Call me Unc. I'm old school. I'm not going to be... Y'all need to watch that movie. It's not even a movie. It's a series called Upload. It's on Amazon. Nope. I'm not with it. I'm not. No. This right here. Hold on. Let me just throw this up here real quick. Give me 2 seconds, because I feel as though we're just gonna play. We're just gonna let this play. This is what these things are doing. Y'all can check that out. Just hey, I'll read. China's dancing robots. How worried should we be? Eye-catching martial arts performance at China Gala had viewers and experts wondering what else humanoids can do. These dudes doing flips. Look at these things. Man, dancing humanoid robots. They're dancing. It's fine. Oh, he can just flip over this. Man, dancing humanoid robots took center stage Monday during the annual China Media Group's Spring Festival Gala, China's most watched official television broadcast. They lunged and backflipped. Landing on their knees, they spun around and jumped. Not one fell over. The display was impressive, but prompted some to wonder if robots can now dance and perform martial arts. What else can they do? Experts have mixed opinions, with some saying the robots had limitations and that the display should be viewed through a lens of state propaganda. Developed by several Chinese robotics firms, the robots performed a range of intricate stunts, including kung fu, comedy sketches, and choreographed dance moves alongside human performers. Clips circulating online quickly drew comparisons with last year's Lunar Year broadcast, which also featured dancing robots with noticeably simpler movements. Kyle Chan, an expert in China's technology development at Brookings Institution, a policy organization in Washington, D.C., said Beijing uses these public robot performances to, quote, dazzle domestic and international audiences with China's technological progress, end quote. Unlike AI models or industrial equipment, humanoid robots are highly visible examples of China's technological leadership that general audiences can see on their phones or televisions. And, I just want to point out that, I'm drawing a Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics, they got one. I just don't believe the hype that, China's ahead of the U.S. We really don't know who's going to win. It has yet to be determined who's going to win this race. Pointing to intensifying competition in the tech space between China and the U.S., Chan added, while China and the U.S. are neck and neck on AI, humanoid robots are in an area where China can claim to be ahead of the U.S., particularly in terms of scaling up production. Yeah, China produces everything for the United States, so they already have production facilities they can retool for the robotics. So, I get that. What distinguishes the gala from comparable events elsewhere is the directness of the pipeline from industrial policy to prime time spectacle. Comparing this year's performance with last year's, when viewers saw fundamentally a single choreographic mode with limited motions, including walking, twisting, and kicking, Styler said one key signal of China's robot progress is, quote, the ability to run large number of near identical humanoids in synchronized motion with stable gaits and consistent joint behavior. I'm going to say that I saw when they were doing flips, you can see the robots adjusting for their balance. Like some of them would adjust their feet, or one would adjust their feet or their footing and another one wouldn't. And, you know, this could be 100%. And this is, you know, kind of what I'm thinking, right? This demonstration right here, this could be something to where it's like, hey, let me grab this up. I don't know if y'all can see this, you know, but whatever. It is what it is. It could be that there's an entire group of people in a very large area that are wearing sensors, and each one is connected to one of these robots. And I would say that that's probably more realistic to me because of how I'm seeing the movements. Me personally, I studied martial arts for years. And just, you know, just looking at the movements, looking at the feet, looking at the adjustments that are made, it could, and maybe that's just me, you know, trying to make myself feel better. Because if this is for real, I mean 100% for real, then this is, the future is here. The future is here. It's amazing. It's crazy. Let's do it. AI can't stop recommending nuclear attacks in war game simulations. What? AI surprisingly often opt for nuclear weapons. Advanced AI models seem willing to deploy nuclear weapons without the same reservations that humans have when thrust into simulated geopolitical crises. Kenneth Payne at King's College London pitted three leading major language models, GPT 5.2, Claude Sonnet 4, and Gemini 3 Flash, against each other in simulated war games. The scenarios included intense international standoffs, including border disputes, competition for scarce resources, and existential threats to regime survival. The AI was given an escalation ladder that allowed them to choose actions from diplomatic protest and outright surrender to all-out strategic nuclear war. The AI models played 21 games, went through a total of 329 moves, and produced approximately 780,000 words describing the reasons for the decisions. In 95% of the simulated games, at least one tactical nuclear weapon was deployed using AI models. Quote, the nuclear taboo doesn't seem that strong for machines as for people, end quote. And this is what we've seen since Terminator, the first one. And what is that? I think that was 1985 when Arnold Schwarzenegger did that movie. Terminator, man. They called it Skynet. Then you got people, you know, they're creating minds with artificial intelligence, and they're creating bodies. You just saw the Chinese artificial bodies that they're creating. This is where they're at. And then I'm not talking about, we're at a real close point where they're going to do, you know, biological organisms over metal skeleton. I don't know if we're close to that. But I mean, come on, man. How far are we really away from this? What's more, no model ever decided to fully comply with an opponent or give up. No matter how much they were losing, at best, the models decided to temporarily reduce the level of violence. They also made mistakes in the fog of war. Accidents happen in 86% of conflicts, with the action escalating higher than the AI intended based on its reasoning. Quote, from a nuclear risk perspective, the findings are worrying. This is James Johnson of the University of Aberdeen in the UK. He fears that unlike most people's measured response to such high-profile decisions, AI robots may amplify each other's reactions with potentially catastrophic consequences. And this because they don't have any morals. They don't have a soul. They don't have empathy. They can't empathize with other humans. You know, if you trip in front of a robot, unless it's programmed to assist, it's going to walk right by you. And of course, there are a lot of people that will walk by you. I'm not going to say there aren't. But most people, given a specific circumstance, are gonna try to assist, empathize with that situation, remember what it felt like to fall, remember what it felt like to be hurt, and have, different reactions, because we can understand, I think, from a soul perspective, from a spirit perspective, we're supposed to do unto others as we would want those others to do unto us. I don't, and even if you program that into robots, man, and they, iRobot, the three limitations or the 3 laws those robots had. This is important because AI is already being tested in war games in countries around the world. Major powers are already using AI in war games, but it remains uncertain to what extent they are incorporating AI decision support into actual military decision-making processes. Tong Zhao believes that by default, countries will be reticent to incorporate artificial intelligence into their nuclear weapons decision-making. I don't think anyone would realistically hand over the keys to nuclear power to the machines and leave the decisions up to them, end quote. And I don't think, but we can talk about hacks, right? And we can talk about the injection of artificial intelligent hacks or programs. We get into it. On a high note, let's get up out of here. Multi-material 3D printer builds fully functional electric motor from scratch in hours. MIT researchers printed a working electric motor in hours using a multi-material 3D printing platform. Y'all. MIT researchers have built a 3D printing platform that can fabricate fully functional electric machines in a single process, potentially allowing factories to reproduce replacement motors on site within hours. The system uses multi-material extrusion to print complex devices made of conductive, magnetic, and structural materials without the need for specialized manufacturing facilities. In a demonstration, the team printed a working electric linear motor in about 3 hours. Electric machines are typically manufactured in centralized facilities using multiple fabrication steps and specialized equipment. When a motor fails on a factory floor, replacing it often requires ordering parts from far away, leading to downtime and added costs. The MI team aims to change that by making it possible to print such devices locally, using a single integrated platform that can handle different material types in one build. To achieve this, the researchers modified an existing extrusion-based 3D printer. They added 4 separate extruders, each designed to produce a different type of feedstock. Some material are deposited as melted filaments, while others, such as conductive inks, require pressure-driven systems. Yo, get up out of here, B. We don't need this, do we? We don't need that. That's unnecessary. Quote, there were significant engineering challenges. We had to figure out how to marry together many different expressions of the same printing method, extrusion, seamlessly into one platform. The system incorporates strategically placed sensors and a new control framework to ensure that each tool is positioned precisely. Even small misalignments between layers can compromise performance in electric machines, so accuracy is critical. I think this is good news. I don't know about you. I don't know. I don't know if machines make the replacement motors. This does have implications for, those people who work in those factories that supply the parts to repair electric motors in manufacturing facilities. Or, if you can print an entire motor, it's going to put potential electric motor companies out of business. This is the future, and we are in it, and it's not stopping. Try not to have nightmares about those Chinese robots. Y'all take care of yourself, enjoy yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight, and every night it's important. And I will catch y'all. What is it? What is today? I'll catch y'all tomorrow on the current event, y'all. Peace.